And then you've got this great paragraph, number 6, where it says, no miracle can ever be denied to those who know they are one with God. No thought of theirs but has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone, in times gone by and times yet to come, as easily as it is with the ones that walk beside them now. What does that mean? Miracles are what? Shifts in our perception. No miracle can be denied. The power of God to work miracles in your life, to transform your life, is guaranteed. That's what you're saying, Tierney. That's what you're saying, Chris. That's what Karen said. That's what Greta said. You know, you have your own stories of, I'm sure, lots of challenging things where you're thinking, oh my God, this has gone on, and all of a sudden, you felt peace in the midst of that storm. No justification for that peace, no reason for that peace, but you felt that peace. And that's what this is saying. That's the miracle. And that's what you are entitled to. And so the more we experience that from others, the more we experience that from ourselves, it becomes a touchstone we can come back to. The world may not go the way you want it to go, but God has never left your side. The world may not go the way that you want it to go, but God has always been there in your heart. The world may not go the way you want it to go, but you know what? The way it's going can be miraculous for you. So we need to know we are one with God. We need to know our answer has nothing to do with the world. The world cannot triumph over us. That's what Jesus said. Be of good cheer. He said, I have overcome the world, and so can you. And that's what he says even in the chorus. Be of good cheer. We have overcome this world. Then it goes on. Paragraph number 7 says, we join in this awareness when we say this truth, that we are one with God. For in these words as well, we say that we are saved and healed, that we can save and heal accordingly. If we are this, then we can be this. If we know this, then we can give that gift to whomever we experience. Just like Chris, if you know this, you can be a gift of healing to your brother, right? If you know that, and he can be a gift of healing to you. And Taranay, you can be a gift of healing to your mother, who thinks of you as her daughter, or you as her mother and she's the daughter. Yeah. You can do that too. We can give that. I mean, how powerful is that? If we know that we are saved and healed, and you know that, it's telling us when we affirm that we are one with God, then we can offer this wherever we go, whatever we do, whomever we meet. How powerful is that to know? What a gift we have to give. We have accepted, and now we would give. We know this. Let me remember this. Now I would give. Why? Because we want to keep the gifts our Father gave us, and we cannot keep if we have not practiced extending. We cannot know this if we have not given. You know, I guess many of you know that Wayne Dyer passed away. He passed away, I think it was on Sunday. Yeah. And if you think about this, he had, I think it was leukemia. He'd had leukemia and succumbed to that, and a heart attack. And I think the thing to remember, how much did he give? How much did he give? Well, you know that he was carried. Because the moment he gave it, he felt it. And the moment he was ready to let go, he felt it. And we still feel it, right? So to me, that's the same idea here. We have accepted, and now we would give because we want to keep it. We want to keep it close to us. Today, we would experience ourselves at one with God. Why? So that the world may share our recognition of reality. We want to know this because we become the bringers and the bearers of that truth. So that's what the Dalai Lama does. That's what Jesus did and continues to do. He knows that truth. He becomes the sharing of that recognition. Wayne Dyer knew that truth. He becomes the sharing of that for a multitude of generations. You think of people like Hugh Prather in the same way. He passed away about 5 years ago, and he still is a testament in our lives. So that's so powerful. We would experience ourselves at one with him so that the world may share the recognition of this reality. In our experience, the world is freed. When we know this, the world is freed. As we deny our separation from our Father, It is healed along with us. The world is healed along with us. So we don't do this just for ourselves. We do this for the people we love. Sometimes I've said to people, if you can't do it for yourself, think of a loved one. Wouldn't you like to do it for them? So if you want to do it for them, then it has to be that important to do it for yourself. You do it for yourself so you can. When mothers always know this. Mothers have to stay healthy when you got little ones, because who's going to get them off to school? Who's going to make their lunch? Who's going to clean their clothes? You can't afford to be sick. You can't. What? You're going to leave it to your husband? Oh, come on, be serious. Sorry, dear. No, I'm teasing you. I know he'd be very good, but you can't afford to. You've got to be there. You've got to be on call. Mothers know that. You just got to do it. The same thing is true for us. I'm not saying to sacrifice ourselves or to feel guilty about it. All I'm saying is what we're asking here is to know that the importance of holding this truth for ourselves is because we just don't do it for ourselves. We do it for the healing of this planet. The Dalai Lama holds the peace for everyone. Jesus held the peace for everyone. We hold the peace for everyone. So you have to have that kind of importance. It's important you do this. I love that line. I think I don't know if I brought, oh, here it is, yeah. At the conference, I was saying when Helen asked why A Course in Miracles, if you remember that little line that she heard from Jesus where it says that because the world situation, first off, he said, that's because you'll do it. Because you're a committed person, you won't stop till something's done. And I understand what that's like. She had a real tenacity to finish something. But he also said this, he said, because the world situation is worsening to an alarming degree, and people all over the world are being called on to help and are making their individual contributions as part of an overall prearranged plan. Part of the plan is taking down A Course in Miracles. And I am fulfilling my part in the agreement, and he was speaking to Helen, as you, Helen, will fulfill yours. You will use abilities you developed long ago and which you are not really ready to use again. Isn't that kind of interesting? That's why I think she fought against so much of this at times. But because of the acute emergency, the usual slow evolutionary process is being bypassed in what might best be described as a celestial speed up. So I love that. And I think to myself, yeah, this is Jesus. This was not in the Course itself. This was a personal note given to Helen to the question, why A Course in Miracles? Why me? Because of what is going on in the world right now. So you may be faced with something. 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 You might be faced with something that you think, why? Greta might be faced with a plate full of somethings. And you might go, why? Well, it's time for us to heal. It's time for us to do it now. Why? Well, because you need to get your stuff out of the way. I need you. I need you to know this truth. I need you. Wouldn't you like to, if Jesus came to you and said, you know what? I need you. Can you forget about those grievances? Can you forget about those angry thoughts you're holding on to? Can you forget about those judgments? Can you just let your mother think you're her mother? Can you be okay with your brother? Because if you can, we've got the world healed. Could you do that for me? Could you heal your relationship with your aunt? Could you do that for me? Would you say no? Would we say no? Would we just say, I'm willing to let healing reign? And that's what this is saying. As we deny our separation with God, as we know we are one with God, the world is healed. Now, that doesn't mean that to do that, you have to do anything but in your own mind, no longer hold that judgment. No longer hold that grievance. No longer hold that fear. It shows it has no purpose in your life. Would you do it? That's what it says in the Course. It says, are you ready yet? It says the Holy Spirit or Christ or Jesus asked but one thing. I think it says Christ asked us all but one thing. Are you ready yet to help me save the world? If you are, then let's start. That's what it's saying. And that's what this is saying. So peace be to you today. Look at that 8th paragraph. And what? Secure your peace by practicing the awareness that you are one with your Creator. That's all that's really saying in there. And then it gives you kind of the directions. Sometime today, whenever best, then devote your time. Give a half hour. Don't have to figure out no special rules or guides. He will Trust God's voice to speak as he sees fit today, certain that he will not fail. Abide with him this holy half hour and let him do the rest. And it goes on to say, your benefit will not be less. And this is my favorite line. We need to know this. Your benefit will not be less if you believe that nothing happens. How many times have you come out of a meditation and gone, well, that was nothing. I felt nothing there. I didn't get any answer. No burning bush. No big voice. Got nothing there. What does it say? It says, don't worry if you think nothing happens. You may not be ready to accept the game. But what does it say? Yet sometime, somewhere, it'll come to you, nor will you fail to recognize it when it dawns with certainty upon your mind. It's working. It's working even when you don't think it's working. This time, and then it uses this analogy of a gold frame to make it precious to you. This time will be framed in gold. With every minute that you give, like a diamond set around the mirror that this exercise will offer you. And you will see Christ's face upon this mirror in reflection of your own. So the face that you see, the face of Christ, the sense of peace that you have, that's you. The sense of expansion and unity and love that you have, that's you. That's what this is saying. These moments are precious. Then it goes on to say, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will see your own transfiguration in this glass that this holy half hour will hold out to you to look upon yourself. When you are ready, it says you will find it there within your mind waiting to be found. You will remember then the thought to which you gave, basically this time, thankfully aware there is no time that could ever be better spent. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will look in this glass and understand the sinless light you see is yours, belongs to you. The loveliness you look on is really your own. Count this time as your gift to God, in certainty that his return will be a sense of love you cannot understand, a joy too deep for you to comprehend, a sight too holy for the body's eyes to see. And yet you can be sure someday, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will understand and you will comprehend and you will see. It will come. And it just says, add further jewels to this frame by repeating, and then it gives us this beautiful thought that we did at the conference, if you remember, as we had our bracelets, our little things. Remember what we did? We put it together, our hands in the prayer position, and we said, let me remember I am one with God. And then we reached our hands out, at one with all my brothers and myself. And then we brought it down in everlasting holiness and peace.